Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We're a little over a week into spring camp, one of my favorite times of the year. I love to read all the practice reports, see who some of the young guys that are flashing on this football team. Got a lot of guys that have transferred in. Been exciting to kind of watch their progression and kind of see what the identity of this football team is going to be in 2024. But guess what? Just a few more weeks of practice. We'll all be at the orange and white game having a good time, and then let the chaos begin as we roll into the post-spring transfer portal chaos. That's something that Josh Pate is calling for. He said it is going to be complete chaos once we get through spring camp. Got a few things I want to look at, but I want to ask you guys a question. You know, we talk about this football team, the roster. What are the needs? We talk about the competitions in spring, that left guard position. What about running back? Cam Seldon now out for the spring. Apparently, sounds like he's going to be back in the fall. I don't know what's going on there. Do you need to add a running back? What about the secondary? I know you added some nice pieces there with the kid from MTSU, the kid from Oregon State, the kid from Temple, but could you add some more depth in the secondary? So put in the comments below, what position would you prioritize if one came available post-spring practice in the transfer portal? But let's talk about the chaos. Before we do that, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, free, easy. It helps the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you. We talk with you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. I'll be live later tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, playing NCAA football, hanging out. We'll talk spring camp. And then also tomorrow, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be breaking down scrimmage number 1 for spring camp. So make sure you guys tune in to that. But let's jump into this article from 247 Sports. It kind of launches me into the conversation of what Josh Pate is calling transfer portal chaos, and something that I think could possibly benefit Tennessee. Let's talk about why. The article here says Nico Iamaleava grateful for the support in the NCAA issue, keeping focus on ball. It goes on to say that Nico is able to keep his focus on the football field these days, and Tennessee's prized redshirt freshman quarterback said he's grateful for that immense support provided by many people that allowed him to do that. Things could have gone much differently, and that's kind of going to be the focal point here, right? Nico saying the people behind him, the Dondi Plowmans, the Danny Whites, the Randy Boyds, Josh Heupel, the NIL Collective, this university went to bat for the student athletes. And when you look at what's going to become available after the spring, and typically we say, you know, post-fall is when you're really going to get the big-time playmakers, but post-spring, you know, it's probably guys that are further down the depth chart, but there's a lot of reason to believe that there's going to be some elite talent in the portal post-spring. Let's continue. Nico hasn't specified the financial benefits of his NIL situation. Tennessee's prized redshirt freshman quarterback certainly hasn't discussed how much he was or would have been targeted in the NCAA attempts to investigate the NIL situation afforded him and other student athletes in Knoxville. That's another talking point for post-spring transfers. Yes, we don't have the exact dollar, but allegedly we've seen a contract from a kid from California that just so happened to be in the class of 22 that got an $8 million deal. Allegedly. Was that leaked out for a reason? Did that get to the public for a reason to let people know that Tennessee, their NIL collective, means business, they have money? Goes on to say an honest answer to both questions could probably be short, a lot. But Nico doesn't have to worry about either of them at this point, thanks to something he had no difficulty discussing: the aggressive defense of him and others by the state of Tennessee and the University of Tennessee that ended with the NCAA legally being told to cease and desist. Now, the article goes on down here, talks about the leadership, Randy Boyd, Dondi Plowman, Danny White, the ones I mentioned earlier, swinging publicly in response to the NCAA's attempts to investigate UT's NIL situation. So this leadership, this administration went to bat. And who did they go to bat for? They went to bat for the student athlete, right? And we've seen Nick Saban in the media a lot the last couple of months talking about anti-NIL, anti-paying players. I'm here to develop kids. I'm here to build relationships. I can't do that anymore. Meanwhile, you look at Josh Heupel, you look at Tennessee, you look at what they've been able to do. They are building a culture, and they are offering NIL opportunities on top of that. Now, Nico was asked specifically about the NIL situation when he met with the media after practice. We can take a listen to that.
Nico, the university had to deal with all the NCAA stuff in the offseason. I'm not asking you specifics about that, but the university fought for UT athletes. The chancellor did. How did you guys feel about that the university fought for your rights against NCAA?
It felt great. All the guys behind the scenes are, behind us and all the student athletes. I thought Coach Hype and, everybody as their whole staff has done a great job in keeping us focused on what the main goal is to be a student athlete here at the university. And focus on ball, and I'm glad all that's past us.
Again, just reiterating that the administration is behind this university, behind the student athletes. And some of you may be saying, Boogie, what does this have to do with anything? Well, Tennessee and Virginia won the lawsuit against the NCAA. So now it's the Wild West. You can do whatever you want. The NCAA wanted it where you couldn't talk dollars. You couldn't talk dollars and cents. You couldn't talk contracts. So because the state of Tennessee and the state of Virginia won that lawsuit, now you can offer NIL money straight up front. You can offer the deals, which we all know allegedly that was already happening, right? You're hearing rumors of $1.5 million deals, $2 million deals, $8 million deals. These these NIL collectives were already talking money. So when you pair that, when you pair all the lawsuits that are going on, and then you add on top of it NILs, wide open, you can pay to play, and then you add this on top of it. This was in December, just a couple of months prior to Tennessee and Virginia winning their lawsuit. Multi-time football transfers will be eligible immediately in 2024, the NCAA says. Now, the most notable one is Caden Proctor, starting offensive tackle at Alabama, leaves Alabama, signs an NIL deal with Iowa. Now he's talking about post-spring going back to Alabama. So if that's what Caden Proctor is going to do, how crazy is the transfer portal going to get post-spring? And that's something that Josh Pate has been talking a lot about. Let's go take a listen to what he thinks is going to happen after spring camp.
So the post-spring transfer portal cycle coming up may actually be wilder than the December window, which should never be the case, but apparently I think that's going to be the case this time around. So,
see, again, we talk about, post-fall versus post-spring. Post-fall, you got the Biletnikoff Award winner flying all the way across the country to make more money in NIL. You've got Alabama starting offensive tackle transferring out for NIL. You've got guys looking to make money. Now, in some situations, you got guys that are looking for playing time. Other situations, you got guys that are looking to take the step, like Chris Brazell, right? Chris Brazell had a lot of success at Tulane. He wants to take that next step, play in the SEC. I understand that. I think that's what the transfer portal is for. But when you roll out NIL and you roll out the transfer portal with no rules or regulations, this is what it has become, a bidding war. Now, follow along with me here. The timing of all of this, NIL, anything goes. Transfer portal, anything goes. NCAA investigation is in the past. Nico, Josh Heupel's golden arm, is taking over at quarterback. 2024 is the most important year of the Josh Heupel era at Tennessee. You have success on the field. I think you're going to be able to add tons of guys through the transfer portal. I think you're going to be able to add a ton of guys in the class of 25. Let's hear more from Josh Pate.
Here's what's happening. There are no rules. They tore down all the speed limit signs, and I think the college football public is still severely underestimating what that actually means. Like, what kind of tangible impact is that going to have? The impact's going to be enormous. I'll tell you more about just how enormous that'll be in a second. But do you understand now? There were very few limitations on this already, but now there are no limitations. And so you haven't gotten to a cycle yet in the no limitation world. Like, you have been used to there being a few limitations, and there were duct tape and paper clips holding guys in place, but now
that's the problem with all of this from the get-go, right? And I said this when they rolled NIL out. I said you have to have rules and regulations in place before you can roll out a transfer portal and roll out NIL. And they didn't do that. They just threw it out there. And then, Tennessee, one of Tennessee's big arguments with the lawsuit was, you're changing the rules as we go. So you're saying we broke a rule that wasn't a rule when it happened. So there was no rules, no regulations. And I think that is bad for college football. I think if they would dial it in and get this thing, they do need rules. They do need regulations, because as Josh Pate just said, now it is a free-for-all.
There are none. And it's only been a few weeks to a couple of months since the NCAA basically got their hands slapped and federal courts and whatnot said, no, you can't do that. There are no restrictions on anything. The first testing ground we're going to have since that happened is the post-spring transfer portal window.
So he thinks it's going to be complete chaos post-spring. What do you guys think? A lot of information here. The reason I laid it out the way that I did is because I think this could benefit Tennessee. They've shown that their administration is in alignment. They are going to fight for the student athlete. They've shown that they have the NIL funds. Part of it is culture. Not every big-time prospect that enters the portal, Josh Heupel is going to go after. Are they a fit? That, I understand we get mad. An elite defensive backs in the portal, Boogie, we need them. Maybe not. Maybe they don't fit what Josh Heupel is trying to do here, so we do have to be cautious of that. But what do you guys think of all this? Nico speaking publicly about it, and then you've got the multi-time transfer rule wide open, NIL wide open. Josh Pate expects complete chaos. What do you expect? Put it in the comments below. Also, let me know if you could upgrade. What are your positions of focus? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, we'll be live tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, playing some NCAA football, talking all things Tennessee football. Go check out the merchandise for the Talkin VAWLS Network at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We would appreciate that. Also, make sure your memberships are up to date. You can hit that join button down below. For as little as $1 a month, you support the channel, but also we're doing fan call-in shows every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can be a part of those. But if that is going to do it for this one, appreciate you guys tuning in. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.